Yeah, what's good, bro?
Not much. We're here for what is this? The sixth episode of the podcast. Um, can you verify for me how do you pronounce your name? I mean, it seems self-explanatory, but I wanna make 100% certain.
Okay, yeah. So the name is pronounced Papa, as in like Poppa,
Okay.
but I
Okay.
spelled it like Popper, like Pauper. I just switched the ending, so instead of Pauper, I put Paupa.
Okay. Do you have a backstory for that name?
Yeah. So my favorite book as a child was actually um the Prince and the Pauper. And it was like it's an actual book, but I read the Disney version when I was
Okay.
younger.
Okay.
So that's the one I read. And basically it was just like, you know, um, the Pauper was a peasant, obviously, you feel me? I forgot how the story went exactly, but he ended up bumping into the prince, I believe, probably like on accident. And then they was like identical. They looked exactly alike. And the prince was tired of being up wherever he was at, his kingdom or whatever, and decided to switch places with the Pauper. So the prince could like experience like whatever was going out in the world, because he couldn't leave wherever he was at.
Hmm.
Um, so it was like basically like like the Pauper ended up taking the prince role, like almost like started from the bottom. Now we here. That's how I was looking at it.
I really feel like
So
I saw this in a movie.
yeah, it's I'm telling you that the book is known, but they have like different versions. But
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's really cool. Yeah, I've noticed there's a lot of people who kind of have like random names, and it's almost like it kind of hurts their marketing because people don't really know what it's meant to mean. But then there a lot of the people that I run into who kind of like really have their brand on lock. They always have a backstory behind their name, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Oh
so
God.
I actually don't know a whole lot about you. I think I told you this before I reached out. I think I'd heard your name around, but also I've been in and out of Rappad, cause life. But if you want to just start off, like, let us know how long have you been with Rappad?
Man, I probably joined that when I was like 17.
Okay.
So that had to be like maybe 2015.
Right.
And I started off, hold on, I'm just putting these key codes in. I started off because like I think when I joined Rap Pad, I was probably like producing maybe like 6 months at that point. And I wasn't really sure like what I was gonna do with the beats. I was doing like different styles. Like I was trying to like do more samples and like get on like the trap tempo. But eventually, like where I'm from Inglewood, California,
Okay.
LA. So like like my main inspirations for real was like producers like Larry J or like DJ Mustard. So like that was like my main influence. To kind of switched over to like the West Coast bounce. So I actually joined Rap Pad when I started doing like more West Coast beats. Um, and it was just I didn't really know what it was for real. Like I think I met someone, I think on Tiny Chat, named Icy Black,
Hmm.
ICBLAC, and I think he told me about it. So I went over there, I checked it out. I started meeting people like I remember like Ginger Slim and Nick Grace. Who
Ginger Sl-
else?
Ginger Slim is still there. He's still there. He's still doing the same thing. Bless his
Oh, for
heart.
real? Yeah, that's
Bless his
dope.
heart.
Uh, who else? Sutherland. Uh, fuck, I'm trying to think. I think it was one dude. I think Amir or something. Um.
Amir would be the owner. You might be thinking of Ali.
Oh yeah, somebody. I was like, I know one of them. But yeah, it was like I was there for a minute. It was like hella other people. I forgot their names and shit. Like but like I was there for a minute, like on Tiny Chat and shit. Like I remember they were doing like freestyle battles and shit. Like it was
What
really live. You know what I'm saying? Like
I think for that time period, it was some of the other ones were like Mike Parker, Ill Words, Mellow Hype.
yeah, Mellow Hype. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, Mellow Hype was always a really good dude. He spent a lot of time sort of doing battles and just kind of like having a good time. Uh, yeah, those were kind of like the good old days, and now it's sort of it's more so just a mixture of like people working and chopping it up over music. I think back then it was like there was a roast pretty much every other hour, and it would just go off the wall. It was a lot of
Oh
fun though.
God, yeah,
It was a lot
yeah,
of fun.
definitely, yeah. Oh
So
God,
I wanted to ask you about. So I want to get into your history with producing, but off the bat, since I'm there are a lot of people in the forum who really draw inspiration from hearing about stuff like this. You have a couple of hits right now that you're like literally you have the producer credit on the title, and one of them
yeah.
is Stupid Young, which is past 40 million, and then another one is Callan, or is that how you say his name?
Kalen for real, that's his name.
Kalen. Okay, so Kalen, your song with Kalen is over 2 million as well. Do you want to speak on how you linked up with them and sort of what led up to that?
Oh, I think my shit lag. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So how I linked up with Stupid Young. This is what happened. So bro hit me up. I think he had like 10,000 followers or something, and he was just like, "Hey, bro, like I need tell me like I'm trying to get Mozzie on it." And I was like, I'm like, bro, I'm like, I don't even believe you really know Mozzie because I ain't know him like that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, ain't no way you know Mozzie, bro. Like you just probably trying to get some free beats. But I had faith regardless. I'm like, shit, if it work out, it'll work out. You know what I'm saying? I sent him 5 beats. One of them was residential, which ended up being Mando, and it just went crazy. Like it went a million, like I think in 3 weeks.
Wow. Okay. And then is it the same kind of deal with Kalen? Just sort of like somebody reaches out to you, and you take a leap of faith with them.
Nah, so Kalen was a little different. So I ended up putting the beat on YouTube. Um, it was I think like maybe like a T Fly DJ Mustard type beat or something like that. And he actually ended up ripping it from YouTube, and he ended up making a song on it. Now I heard the song before it blew up. I heard it on a YouTube channel called KG Beats, and he usually like represents like the SoCal music in the Northern California, and I think he also has like affiliation to Thizzler, which is like really big on the northern side. But but the first time I heard it was I was like, yo, this shit dope as hell. Like I don't think we talked at that time, but I know I actually remember the day I listened to it. Like I was talking to my mom about it, and I was like, yo, this shit hard because like I didn't really have like no shit popping off like that. B record and Mando was more of like a West Coast like street anthem. So I was trying to show people I was different. But when we started talking and shit, like I think it was already like he already was blowing up on SoundCloud. You know what I'm saying? And it just went up. And then we had them what 2 other songs. We had Smoke Some, and then we had Blues on his for real tape that like I think like most of them tracks got like a million plays, bro. Like he had like none but hits on it. But I know that Kalen for real like set the tone for like making people start using more melodies, in their songs, like with their voice, because a lot of people just on the monotone or like mumble gang banging or whatever the case was.
Right.
But no, he definitely set the bar for that.
Hmm. Okay. And since then, how has your life changed?
Man, I got a distribution deal with Empire. Those like the same people that sound like XXXTentacion,
Okay.
Mozzie. They got shit with Iggy Azalea, King Von, Kendrick Lamar, like SOBRBE,
Would that be
like all that
the
type of shit. Like
would they be the distributors for Kendrick before he signed what was it to Interscope? I think I can't
I
remember.
I think I think I want to say I want to say that Kendrick actually was with TDE and then went to Aftermath. I think is where he went. Um, But I mean, the thing is, with record deals and distribution and publishing deals is all different, you know. So like,
Mm.
I could have a distribution deal with Empire and then get a publishing deal somewhere else, or I could get both of them from Empire and then I could get a record deal. It depends on how you go about your business, but you got to be wise about how you do it, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, but no, my life completely changed. I got a Billboard plaque. You feel me, with my name on it with from E40's album. I got a song with E40, Ty Dolla Sign, G Easy called "Rain on My Parade," like dropped last year.
That was the
And then
next
other
thing I was
songs.
gonna ask you is about what songs you've produced that people might not know about.
Man, okay, let me think. So I produced Stupid Young, Mozzie Mando. I produced Stupid Young, Trust Nobody. I produced Blueface Tour featuring NLE Choppa, Asian Doll. Uh, who else? I'm trying to think who else. Glock 9, Sada Baby. Uh, who else? I got I'm trying to think. It's like hella shit, bro. Like, I can't even think about it. I gotta go like on SoundCloud and just tell you like I got like a bunch of records and shit, like even unreleased with like people like Yeah Ali, Roddy Rich. You feel me? Like I got like hella shit, bro. Like I do too much though. A lot of people like get like just rip my beats off YouTube and they just be blowing up.
Mm.
I got Cuban Doll, Cap. I'm trying to think. I don't know how. Hold on, I probably got like somewhere in here. I got like too much shit. Hold on. And I also released my own music too. Like not with me singing or nothing, but or actually some, but like I got like my own releases. Like I put like shit together, you know. Like I tell people like, hey, I think you should hop on this beat, or I get people like on features and shit.
Mm.
Um, Yeah, my bad. I'm trying to get all this shit together. So yeah, so I got I Am Sued from Can You Understand Me? That just recently came out. Oh, Benny Sullivan Put You On. That's like at 10 million right now. That's dropped like I think 5 months ago. I don't know if people know Draco the Ruler, but I got Draco the Ruler, Hood Trophies. Um, who else? I got RJ Mr. LA Apartments. That's like about to hit 1 million. Um, Bravo the Bag Chaser and Phoenix Flexing from Shoreline Mafia. Hot shit.
Okay, so
Um,
you're
like
working all the time, really putting out hits.
yeah,
So can you speak
yeah. That's why it's
on
kind of hard for me to remember. I just going crazy.
that's that's a good thing, man. Can you speak on being professional in a scene where professionalism isn't really equivalent to what you would expect in other industries?
I mean, what definitely music is different. To be honest, I came into it looking at it a different way because I figured it was gonna be easy, and it's really not. It's
Mm.
really like a real job. Like in order for you to be successful, you really have to like know what you're talking about and what you're doing. But not
Mm.
even just that, you have to know how to interact and like actually like make connections and network. You know, like it's it's cool. You feel me? Like to do music and do it like maybe for a hobby or for sport. But a lot of people that get into music just doing it like like they was just in their garage, just recorded something one day and it blows up, and then you got record labels seeing you up. They sign off too fast, not knowing what they're doing, and they can fuck up your whole life, and you end up in debt. Like you don't want to do no shit like that because a lot of these advances, bro, you got to pay off. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
They give you an advance, bro. That's supposed to be for music videos, supposed to be for features, supposed to be for studio time.
Right,
You
the
feel me? Like
advance is for
it,
making more money and putting in more work.
right? Because once you pay that shit off, they're gonna start giving you what your royalties and shit. After you pay them what they helped you out on, which is
Mm-hmm.
only right. You feel me? Especially if you sign off on it, that's a mutual agreement. So you can't just like slack on your priorities. Like it's definitely not like a 9 to 5. You feel me? You could honestly be like, all right, I'm gonna work here, and then if you get irritated, you could quit and find somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? But with music, bro, it's too many hands in the cookie jar. If you do one mess up, bro, especially if you went too deep, you don't want to do that. You feel me? Like you don't want to do that. Just I think honestly, if you wanna be successful, me personally, I say get a distribution deal. You know what I'm saying? Get you a publishing deal, and I don't really know about no record deals. Just stay
Mm.
independent,
Mm.
and just get your masters on your masters, collect your shit. Even if you don't got a distribution deal, go on DistroKid. You feel me? Make sure you trademark your name, you copyright your music. You feel me? Because that's your intellectual property anyway. Like just make sure everything is covered. You feel me? You get your royalties, and you could honestly make it on your own. It may be a little
Right.
harder as far as time, but it's
Right.
definitely possible for sure.
Right. We've heard.
All
Well.
that touring money, you ain't got to split with nobody. Like I'm telling you,
Right.
you keep a lot of your money, bro. If you don't got no ties like that.
Mm. Yeah, we've heard, just as a community, I think we've all heard over the last 10 years, a lot of up and comers and a lot of underground rap industry folks talk about the possibility of being independent and the math behind it. And nowadays, it's become much more rampant thanks to folks like Russ, who kind of like, loaded that message into an air horn and just kind of went everywhere and anywhere with it, which is definitely a good thing. And really the math behind it is like, if you have a deal, you put out a record, they front you like 500K or whatever you get, and then you make, let's say the appeal of this is you don't have to think about, well, it's interesting because there's an appeal to it, but it almost seems very foolish. There are a lot of people who think in terms of, well, I want my fucking money right now. But if you're signing for 2% of your profit and your record makes, I don't know, $20 million between, like, let's say vinyls and CDs and digital sales and streams, you're gonna get what, 200,000,
But
200,000.
depending on how much they give you, because you feel me, I'm not gonna lie. Like it depends on how the paperwork's set up. A lot of people, um, I don't know if you know, like a lot of people sometimes like A&Rs and shit, they'll get people signed, and sometimes it'd be like finder's fees or it'd be like joint ventures or whatever. Like it depends on how much you sign for, how much the term of the like the years, like how much you're in that contract. You feel me? And then yourselves. You feel me? It just like I said, that more depends on like how you look at the business. Don't just go in there. I mean, like you said, the appeal of wanting the money now. A lot of people haven't seen that much money all in one place. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right.
they definitely want to obtain that,
Mm-hmm.
any way possible. But the thing is, it's not about in the moment and what you're doing right now. It's about longevity and what you
Exactly.
see 10 years from now. I
Exactly.
think a lot of people got to start looking at it more from that mindset.
Right. And from a financial standpoint, if you make music that really can fit into the mainstream and it does really well, if you own that independently and you're pulling 50% of your profits and then you're distributing the rest of it to people that you've worked with, people that have helped you out with the project, you make 20 million, you get 10 million of that. Now, if you want to step out of the box and make something different and promote it, now you actually can. Whereas if you only get 200K out of that whole deal and you got to take care of your family, your friends, you want to get a car, you want to travel a little bit, you're going to be dead broke the next year. So it's really about making wise decisions. And I was going to ask that as well. Do you think that there's a wise way if you find yourself in a spot where you're negotiating and you've kind of set your mind on, I'm going to sign with these people or I'm going to sign with somebody? Is there a wise way to go about negotiating to set yourself up in the future for success?
Well, that just depends. That depends on who's providing the opportunity for real. Like, I mean, I feel like a lot of people feel like with contracts, with words. Okay, I understand what it's saying. I can read it. It's words. Um, I don't. I feel like personally, no one should feel comfortable when it comes to like contracts and stuff like that because
Mm,
it's all law. You feel me? So it's not. Sometimes it's not phrased to how you feel me, like how you pick it up. It may mean something else in the terms of law. You know. So you just gotta, you feel me, just be hip on what you need as far as like having an entertainment lawyer or a manager.
mm,
I've definitely learned like doing like split sheets or like exclusive contracts, like to not have uh like business or not business but like like conversations as far as like contracts with the other person. You're supposed to let the lawyers do it. Like, it's when you're doing something like that for the first time is very like nerve wracking. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm.
it's the first time and you don't want to mess up. It gets easier after a while. Um, but for anyone that's doing that or gets into that position, it's never going to be comfortable. Never gonna. It's not. I don't know. It might be a person out there that signed their record deal. I'm cool. I know exactly what's going on. But I think for the most part, I don't think anyone knows what's going on. It's just you gotta gotta wish for the best and just protect yourself.
Right, and there's definitely an aspect of over the last 20 years, if the music industry was kind of like this castle with a moat around it, we kind of filled in the moat and took down the doors, and they still kind of control everything that's going on, but it's a lot easier to come and go freely these days with things like the internet and really just information being so publicized. Uh, So, would you consider yourself, from like a business standpoint, a production standpoint, and really like marketing? Would you consider yourself self-taught, or did you have like a mentor or a very specific place where you got a lot of your information?
Well, everything I did as far as making beats was self-taught, besides like going to like YouTube tutorials on like how to mix and shit,
Right.
or like some of like internet money. I remember how to humanize your keys, basically just changing the velocities while you play like notes or whatever. Like, but besides that, I learned how to make the beats like really by myself. I don't know how to play the piano or anything. I play usually by ear, because I don't
Mm.
know like how to like read music or nothing. Before I started having like MIDI controllers or like pianos and shit, um, I was using the computer keyboard to play music and shit. So I don't really know like how to do like how to make music professionally. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I just have an ear for it. And then for like the business side, I actually did have a mentor. So I had someone named Redrum, and Redrum he produced like a lot of shit. Like he got placements for like Famous Dex, Kodak Black, Smoke Perk, all type of shit. Like, and he was really like at that time he was really like going crazy because he was working with DJ Flip and shit, and DJ Flip was really getting big. Like Red Drum and Flip used to be like frequent collaborators and shit. And they was like more into like the SoundCloud scene, and Red was basically like just helping me like as far as like getting my text together, like my BMI. He was telling me the difference between BMI and ASCAP, the difference between like publishing. Like I didn't know what the hell publishing was until Red Drum. I swear to God. When it came to like VSTs, I never knew about. You feel me? Like he was telling me like all type of shit like about VSTs. He would like give me like cracks and shit, like because I didn't have no money to buy like no legitimate ones. He would be giving me
Mm.
cracks and shit, like, hey bro, here you go. You feel me? And I was like 18 at that time. You feel me? Like, and he didn't have to
Mm.
do that because I only knew him like maybe almost a year at that point. It wasn't even like a full year. And he was just like, yo, like I look at you like a little brother. Still do to this day. Like I still talk to bro. Like not as frequently, but whenever like I see him, it's always love. Of course. He's still doing his thing on the beats too.
On that subject, with sort of acquiring software and tools however you can, would you agree that as far as like from a business standpoint of these companies who make VSTs and studio equipment and things like that, I feel as though without the whole pirating scene, there are a lot of producers and, well, really, yeah, just a lot of artists and producers who never would have made it and made the money to go and spend the money on legitimate copies of all of their tools if they hadn't gone and acquired it in the first place.
Okay, now, yeah, I like this conversation. So yeah, so this is my view on it. Uh, okay, so you understand the whole internet money versus image line thing, or do you know
No,
about that?
no.
Okay, so what FL Studio started to do was like a lot of people producers was trying to like stream like themselves make beats, but they I guess whoever was watching, I don't know how they do it. I don't know if it's like like a digital thing, or like I don't know how it is exactly, but somewhere in the FL, if it's cracked, they can figure it out somehow. I forgot what it was that let them know, but what they were doing was like a lot of these producers that was already like established or like getting known, that was making money off um these illegal programs and shit. You feel me? Like or illegitimate. You feel me? Like it's like I feel like personally, like even if they did get it like not legally, you know what I'm saying? Like they still bringing attention to the software, because you gotta think of people like Nick Mira, you gotta think of people like Cash Money AP, Drum Dummy, like Black Mayo, like they probably use a lot of them cracks and shit, but if they streaming and shit, or they showing people like they beats and they're like, yo, I use FL Studio, man, they blowing up on YouTube. A lot of them kids and shit that are listening to them beats and trying to rap, they might be like, yo, I don't got money to release a beat. I'm gonna just what does he use again? FL? Okay, yeah. And that brings them money if they have the money to do it, or they might get a crack too. You know what I'm saying? But I think personally it's a win-win. I mean, I do agree with Emma's line, like you should, if you have the money, buy
Mm.
the license. But I feel like it still brings attention to FL, because FL specifically, I feel like a lot of people think of it like a video game, and they think of it like more easier to use.
Right.
So I feel like they shouldn't really like complain about it as much, because maybe you're not making the money as opposed to like if everyone bought a license for it. Okay, cool. But at the same time, you're still like one of the most relevant DAWs. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I feel like it's like a bittersweet thing.
Well, I think it's definitely a really interesting dynamic. I remember hearing about something very similar with Metro,
Hmm.
where he had taken video of his Fruity Loops and he hadn't considered. So this, as far as I know, this is how they find out, because they're not hackers and they don't have like backdoor into your computer. What they do is, if you're not smart and you open up your FL and the crack, the name of the crack, the name of the license, it's up there in the top left, right underneath the minimize, and enlarge and close buttons, and it'll say like Team CPY or whatever, which is basically an indicator that you're using a license that a lot of people are using. And so that's pretty much like a very easy way for them to determine like, oh yeah, this dude doesn't fucking own our software. But on the same note, it's like you said, if you don't have an alternative, there's really no possibility of you being able to meet the quality level of others unless you find a workaround. And for one, you're not gonna get the same experience if you don't do that and you wait and you just sort of like wallow in your feelings and you're like, I don't have the money to do anything. Um, and on top of that, I look at it as like, if I were making software, there's a certain point where it just wouldn't make sense if people were making money off of my software. For one, I would probably be keeping an eye out for a dude like Nick Mira, who's making tens of thousands every month or whatever, and using pirated software. But on the same note, there have got to be dozens of producers who never made a peep, that started off with pirated software, and when they started making money, they turned around and grabbed the legitimate copies. And there are a lot of benefits to doing this too, because you can have all your licenses sort of stored in a program and then move them from one computer to the other, rather than having to reinstall a cracked version of a software if you ever travel and you don't have your laptop or whatever it may be. So it's really, really useful to do that. But generally, from like a philosophical standpoint, I think you gotta do something, and especially, how are folks ever gonna get good if they don't have the tools to do it, and how are they gonna make money if they're not good? So it's like the difference is kind of like, maybe you're like me, or you're in a worse spot than somebody like me. You don't make a lot of money by any measure, and you kind of live paycheck to paycheck. It might be 10 years before you feel like you actually have $500 to set aside to spend on software. But that doesn't even factor in equipment like getting a laptop and a Focusrite and a microphone and a keyboard and all kinds of things. So yeah, it's definitely it's a deep rabbit hole. The next thing I wanted to ask you about is
But actually,
your.
before you move on, I was actually going to bring up that I agree with everything you said, and I feel like honestly, a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of kids watching that don't have the means to get it as well.
Hmm,
Like you feel me? Like, and some of these producers or aspiring rappers and singers are like, babies, bro. Like, so it's just something to think about. Like
right.
I started making beats at 17, so I wasn't like that young, but I started DJing at like 11. So I'm pretty sure it's a 11-year-old producer on FL or Ableton or something right now. You feel me?
Right. Yeah, I completely agree. So for you, when did you start producing? I know you said you came on to Rappad like 6 months after, so that would be like what, 2013, 2014?
Nah, that was ooh, man. When did I join rap? I feel like I joined Rap Pad. It, I don't, man. I'm thinking it could have been maybe 2014, to be honest. But
Okay.
I know I was definitely on there a lot 2015 for sure. I
Hmm.
remember that. But yeah, I think I was 17 when I started making beats,
Okay.
and it wasn't that long before I found Rap Pad. It was how I started making beats really was because I was a DJ, but the genre I was doing was chopped and screwed, and sometimes I do like party mixes for my mom or whatever. Like she had me do like Katy Perry or whatever. But I was doing that shit, and it wasn't like making no money. So I was just like, man, like I'm getting older. I don't want to work a job. I'm like, I gotta find something else. Like if I don't, I'm just gonna be stuck. And I did graphics, and people would like pay me for artwork and shit. But I wasn't confident in my work because I never like went to like school for it or anything. Like I never like had like any classes or even looked up YouTube tutorials. Like I downloaded it and was just using it however I was using it, whatever I pieced in my head on how the program worked. So I ended up just downloading FL Studio, um, trying it out for a little bit, and then I just got like addicted to it. Like I was just like on it all the time. I
Hmm.
just couldn't get off of it.
Hmm. Okay. So when you started, like right there at the beginning, where did you see yourself taking it? Like, what was your vision? Whether or not you might have thought it was like delusional or way out there, or even like under the bar for you.
To be honest, I really just wanted to make music with my friends. Like I was in high school, so my homie Shy. He made a mixtape called Only the Beginning, and I was trying to get on his next tape because he already dropped it, and I heard it. I'm like, yo, I'm like, this shit go crazy, and I was trying to hop on his like new tape, whatever he's working on. I don't think at the time he did put one out, but yeah, like it was just like I never thought like I was gonna be like um uh I mean, what's it called? RIAA certified gold or like a Billboard plaque or a Billboard like nothing with Billboard, nothing with like mainstream, nothing like it was just really honestly was just I was just trying to bullshit or whatever. But what ended up happening was YouTube. Like once I started putting like type beats on YouTube, it just went a whole different direction. I think honestly I did it on accident, but it was a blessing in disguise.
Hmm. So what do you mean you did it by accident?
Well, I didn't know like what to do with beats. I was just making beats, and I know I wanted like someone to hop on it, like because like I told you, my friend, like I don't think he was like. I think after he did the project, I don't know if he was worried about making another one.
Hmm.
And then it was also like near like the school like ending and shit, like everyone graduating and shit. So, um, like I think most of my friends like went to like a university and shit that was like out the state or like somewhere like out the town, and I didn't know who. like could get on my beats. So I was like kind of going on YouTube trying to find like, you know, West Coast rappers or LA rappers because I'm from LA. Um, and I just couldn't really like find nobody. Nobody knew who I was, so I couldn't just hit people up. Like nobody like heard of anything I was doing. So I think just to get honest feedback, I just went to YouTube. Um, but I didn't realize like while I was just like progressing, I guess in beats and shit, like people was on my YouTube like, yo, what the fuck? Like this shit is hard. And I think when SLBRVE started coming out, because they're like hella big like on like in the Bay. I started doing like SLBRVE type beats because like I'm not gonna lie, I was like a big fan of them. And then like the views just started going up. Like my views, like I was hitting like 100K like one video. Like it was just weird. Like, and then I don't know, like I wasn't getting no less than like 20K per video. Like it was just I don't know what the hell was happening, but my subscribers went the fuck up. Beat sales was crazy. And this is before Mando. This was like all YouTube still. Like Mando didn't come until like November 2017. So everything
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about is 2015, 2016.
Okay.
And I was actually on Rappad doing YouTube videos as well. Like that's when I actually started. I was on Rappad. I was showing people shit. I was doing beat battles and shit. I was actually winning them. I was like lost. Like what the fuck?
Man, we gotta have beat battles again. What the fuck? Um,
Yeah, no, that shit was fun, man. I love that shit.
yeah, for real. So, can you talk about towing the line between sort of doing what's or finding a niche that's popular and also focusing on what you love and following your inspirations?
Um, I mean, to be honest, I don't like I can only speak for myself. Um, I didn't really come into this whole business like trying to get somewhere. I know that I genuinely love music because before I was doing beats, like I was doing like DJing and shit. So I know I love music, you know. But honestly, like I'm not a good person when it comes to shit like that, bro. 'Cause I don't even know what I'm doing half of the time. I just know I just try to stay as focused and try to get as much information. But I feel like personally, if you wanna like I said, you wanna try to go. Oh shit, my AirPods. If you want to try to make it big, you know what I'm saying, and perfect your craft, you gotta always be consistent. You feel me?
Mm,
I feel like that's the main thing is just consistency, hard work. It don't matter if you feel like you got the talent either. Like you might have like the most talent in the world. You feel me? But if someone's out there working harder than you feel me? They will definitely take your spot.
mm. One thing that I brought up with somebody recently was the difference between uploading every day and staying consistent as an artist, that you don't necessarily, unless you're already sort of trying to keep the momentum of your train up, you don't necessarily need to embark on a journey of uploading every single day if you're able to just focus on creating and learning and, you know, sort of applying what you learn every single day. What do you think of that?
I think that's actually the truth, to be honest, because I've seen a lot of people. Well, I mean, especially on YouTube, it's YouTube algorithms as well. So you definitely don't want to like spam your YouTube. You also don't want to oversaturate.
Mm,
But I mean, definitely, yeah, you do want to be consistent. And usually when people are trying to like get a lot of music out there to like keep the momentum, it's usually artists, not really producers. So I feel like for producers, all you need to do to keep your momentum is keep making them beats. You know what I'm saying? Like
mm,
if the type beats is going crazy on your YouTube, hell yeah. But the shit you should really worry about is making them packs for them artists whenever you get an email or
right.
whenever you got a opportunity to send some in to an artist that you wanted to work with or you didn't have access to before. You know, like
Right.
that's the main thing. And you don't want to be like, damn, I got no beats. You know, like you don't want to be that person either. So yeah, just keep working like however it is. You know, just I feel like the most thing you need to be consistent in is making the beats. Yeah, but as far as uploading and shit, like as long as you still are uploading, you feel me? Like and you're not going like months and shit or like years without uploading shit, then you should be fine.
Mm, word. Yeah, I completely agree. It's interesting because there's a lot of people. This is something that I suffered from. It was like Well, what's the point of putting in all this work if I'm not being consistent as a brand? I'm not building anything, and eventually I kind of realized it's not how it fucking works, because you can potentially make, like, even if you don't upload any of your beats that you make in a year, you could make 100 ones that you want to upload and keep on working. In the next year, you could set aside some time to just set all of those to upload. You don't even have to worry about it. I mean, one thing that people don't really consider is getting ahead of their own game and making sure that they're always sort of like 10 steps ahead of themselves, so that they can both focus on um, building their platform in a way that, like, you never run out, like you always have something more to add to it, and you're also always working on something more to add to it.
I mean, I agree with that too. Like, I mean, like I said, it depends on what people know. Like, you can definitely utilize YouTube as with pre-upload, so you can still like space it out, and then you can still work on your craft. Um, I mean, a lot of people, I don't know if they're aware of that, but I mean, if you do have like a schedule, it probably would be better. You can get a lot done if you just take the time to like do it and set aside like certain things that you need to, get done within a timely manner, And then also if you know like the tool you're using, like if you know exactly how to use it, because there might be some shit on FL that people don't know that could actually save their time as far as like sending collabs. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's probably embarrassing, but but when I was sending people collabs and shit, like I was never like sending them the zip because I didn't know what that was. I was like every melody I did, I was sending it. I was doing each sound as a wave, and it was taking up like 5 minutes for me to do that. And I had to be taught. I had to get like hip to like sending like the zip loop package. And then
Mm.
it was easier, you know what I'm saying? And it's like shit like that, like, you feel me? Like, if you know what you're doing and you familiar with the programs you're using, whether it's FL or it's Gmail or it's BeatStars or it's YouTube, Airbit, whatever the case is, you feel me? Like, you can make it easier for yourself to where you don't have to feel like you're rushing everything.
Word. Word. Okay. On that subject of your sort of knowing what you're working with, what's one thing that you really wish, like, if you could talk to yourself, I don't know, 5 years ago, what information would you impart to sort of improve your life at that point as an artist?
So like I would have told myself to not be so critical of my own work. I think I would have told myself to let it just flow out natural and not to be so like not to overanalyze everything. I kind of overanalyze a lot of shit, and sometimes it be fucking shit up. As far as like sending a beat to somebody and me not thinking that they will fuck with it, in reality they might, type shit. Um, like, or like even just as far as like the YouTube, like I've had a lot of people tell me like when Mando came out, like, nah, don't do the YouTube, like you're gonna blow up, this with the whoop. And you don't want to make yourself extremely exclusive. Nah, I don't. I would have told myself, fuck what they talking about. I'm still gonna do, my YouTube shit, because I did take a break from YouTube, and
Mm.
it kind of did slow it down, and it did take me a minute to actually get it back together. So
Mm.
it was like stressful. Thankfully for me, I have a good fan base where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? And people like the records that I've done, and they like how different my sound is. So I'm grateful enough for that. But if honestly, I would tell myself, just trust my gut, go with my gut, trust my intuition. You
Mm.
feel me? Like, I wouldn't really take advice from nobody that's not in the same shoes as me anymore. That's something I would have done
There's
when I
something to
was
be
younger.
said about that too, because, like, I've seen like in the comments of underground rappers or underground producers, like, a lot of people sort of really, how you say, feeling themselves over the fact that they're one of the only people that knows about this, and there's something exciting about that for them. And a part of them probably is thinking like, nah, this should stay exclusive because, like, you know, I have access to it, and I don't know how much it's gonna change if other people have access to it, and I don't know, like people who think that their underground rappers shouldn't blow up because it'll change their sound or their style. Um, and you know, as a form of advice or really a reaction to pay attention to, I think that should be like thrown out the fucking window. Yeah,
I
it's
mean, I definitely, yeah, I honestly I've never heard of that, but that actually makes sense because if you think about it, when the SoundCloud rap shit came, like yeah, it was different, but a lot of people was hating on it. But I mean, it was, I don't want to say no names and shit, but it was certain people I was looking at like, yeah, you just a little salty. But yeah, a lot of people do believe that the game is to be sold and not told and shit.
mm,
And me personally, I feel like with shit like that, I feel like I like spreading information. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I didn't have no one to really like do that for me besides the Red Drum. You feel me? Like I ain't have like no business partners or no managers at the time or nothing like, you know. So I see like when I made my label, I made a label called Producer Palace. It was a lot of kids that was like younger than me that was like aspiring producers who was like super hard, super dope. And I was just trying to share with them as much as I knew and put my connections with them. So you feel me? Like we could all get rich, you know? Because
mm,
I don't think it would be fun for me to be going up and spending bands and shit, and then my homies is down, and I gotta like give them handouts and shit. Like, nah, I want everyone to be equal, you know. Especially if I believe in you, bro, and I feel like you're a good person. Like, I'm definitely gonna do that for you, you know.
mm. I feel
I don't
that.
think that everyone should just keep everything to themselves. Like, yeah, certain things keep to, but not like as far as like advice and shit. You feel me? That could help someone else that might really need it. You know, like I think that's just corny. Or like trying to charge people, like charge producers for collabs and shit. Now I get certain people like if you like hell like you like Zaytoven and Metro and shit, yeah. But if you just like a local producer and shit, even with me, I got hella like millions of views attached to my name. I don't charge producers for collabs because that's retarded, bro. Like I'm not gonna do no shit like that because in reality, bro, there's a lot of producers out there that would probably want to work with me and they probably dope as fuck. And I'm not gonna sit here and ruin my chance, you feel me, to make a hit with them as opposed to like you feel me trying to be on some extra Hollywood shit and then stop, you know, their dreams or whatever the case is working with me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's I feel like personally I want it to be a win-win. I don't want no one to take a loss, you know?
Right. Right. Yeah, I feel that. So now that you've come this far, where do you see yourself going from here? Sort of, what's your target?
Man, so I want to be at least nationwide, if not worldwide. But if not, I mean, I'm cool with being like a California legend. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be like a California legend. You know what I'm saying? At least, uh, I definitely want to like later on if I get like everything together as far as like my production and shit and my catalog, like, cause I just turned 23. So like, let's say like 7 years from now, I'll turn 30. Hopefully around that time, I'll be like well established. I have like multiple like plaques like multi-platinum records and shit and hella Grammy nominations and Grammy award winning like songs and shit. And then I could just be an A&R and I could just get people signed, like the people I believe in, I think is talented and dope. And then I could just make people rich all day. And I'm cool off that. Like, you feel me? Like, I'm cool. I'm good with that.
Okay, heard. Um, and sort of like if you went into a dream state and you were like, I can do absolutely anything. There's no limit whatsoever. What would you say your like big dream of all would be, or your biggest dream?
Honestly, I think the only thing I always tell myself is just the Grammy. I just really just want like a Grammy, bro. If I get a Grammy to like almost like have it like there in my face to show like whatever I was doing with my music and shit was actually important. You feel me? To like the masses. then
Hmm.
I'm cool. I feel like that's like the only accolade I would want is like some shit like that. Besides like a platinum plaque, a platinum record or anything. Because like I've had songs on the radio before, so that I mean I always wanted some shit like that. But when it happened, I was like I gotta start thinking higher. You know what I'm saying? So I could actually achieve something. And I think that Grammy, bro. That's what I really want. That Grammy.
Respect, man. I completely have faith. Anybody anybody who puts in the work and really wants it. This is one of my weird philosophies is that a lot of people think game's not fair. People who should make it don't make it, and things like that. I really don't believe that. I think people who really invest everything they have into reaching their goal, and they do it like it's life or death, they get there. And that's kind of like something that I've seen play out over and over again between anybody like Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, anybody from TDE, even Dre, even pretty much anyone who's worth their salt in this game right now.
Yeah.
So of all the things that you've done so far, what do you think is your highest point? Like even if it's not the most views, what do you think the the uh, the most proud moment would be?
I think honestly, I think when E40 flew me out to his house, I think
Ooh,
that was
ooh.
like probably like one of my highlights. Oh, besides, okay, so this it's two of them. So E40 flying me out, and then Stupid Young inviting me to Kanye West studio. That was like two things that I probably will never forget. Um, but honestly, I feel like the E40 one was crazier, just because like just how I got in contact with E40, and then like the fact that he didn't even know me and was willing to like give me a plane ticket and fly me out, and you feel me, have someone drive me and give me a hotel, whatever the case was. Like that shit was really crazy to me, because
Wow.
I didn't think that was gonna ever happen. He invited me to his house. I met OMB Peasy. I met Chameleonaire. That shit was crazy, bro. I had a conversation with Chameleonaire about that Michael Jordan shit. Bro, yeah, I'm sorry. That E41 was definitely, yeah, that was definitely the highlight of my life. Oh God. Bro, that shit was crazy as hell to me.
Wow.
Shit was
That's
lost. I gotta look, I gotta explain this shit so you can get like, okay, so I don't know how like this even really happened besides like someone telling E40 about me. But E40 ended up calling me while I was at school. He was like, "Yo, someone told me about your beats. I fuck with your beats. I went on your website, your YouTube. I got five I want right now. Send me a list." I'm like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna send it to you when I get home." I'm not thinking I'm about to meet him or nothing. I'm thinking I'm about to just email him some shit. He's about to record on it, and you know it's good. I got an E40 song, or possibly. Probably like maybe like a week later or something. Like, I know he followed me on Instagram, and then he like called me like maybe like a week later. I'm in bed with my girl like early as hell, like 7 or 8, and he's like, "Yo, I want to fly you out." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I want to fly you out to Oakland." And I'm like, bro, I'm like, what the hell? I almost said no because I was like scared. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was just like, I know, like, I've never had someone like ever do that. But I was like, honestly, if I don't do this, I don't think like you feel me. I'm gonna have an opportunity like that again. So I was like, all right, I'm down. You know what I'm saying? I had to go get a what's it called? I had to get a state ID, so I could go and shit because I didn't have a state ID at the time. And I think maybe like 4 days or whatever. I took the flight or some shit like that. I was there for like I think like 2 or 3 days, and that whole time, just like the first time meeting him, like he had a big ass mansion, bro, like big ass house, like, and it was like a gated community almost, so like other mansions on my head. Like when I'm looking at all these big ass houses, I'm like, damn, I wonder who live here. Like that's all I thought. Like, yo, like it's probably so many fucking famous people's houses I just fucking just drove past. Like you feel me? I was just like, what the fuck? And his was like at the very top, like between these two
ooh.
big ass houses. His is in the middle.
He's been working for a
I'm just like,
long time.
yes, bro. I'm just like, that's the type of shit I want too. Like E40 is definitely an inspiration, bro. Like, cause Man, he's like a king, bro. Like especially in his region too, because he still stay there. Like he's like God almost, bro. Like that shit is crazy, man. Like man, yeah, big ass house though. But yeah, I was there. I was eating pizza and shit with 40 and OMB Peasy. Then the next day uh I saw E40 and Chameleon there, and I asked Chameleon there about that shit with Michael Jordan. I was telling him like I'm like, yo, is it true what you said about Michael Jordan? And he said he said yeah, he said I still don't like him. And I was like, whoa. So the story about it, which is kind of sad I have to say this, but the story that I'm referring to and he's referring to is Chameleon there like probably like a decade ago. I don't know if people don't know, I don't know if they know who Chameleon there is, but Chameleon there, the Ryan Dirty dude, like
Yeah, I remember.
uh yeah, he said like maybe like a decade ago that he met Michael Jordan. I think he was with some other people. I don't know why I want to say like Steve Francis or something. Oh damn, hold on.
Hey, you could. Oh shit, you can hear me?
Yeah. Oh wow, quality's way different.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, I can't hear nothing. What
Ooh,
the hell's going on? Hold on, bro.
you good?
All right, hello.
Yep.
All right, there we go. My bad. My AirPods died. I switched to my desktop. But but the story is that Chameleon there was there with somebody. I think I want to say like Steve Francis, some basketball players and shit. I just forgot who it was. It was so long ago. And he ended up meeting Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan said he didn't want to take a picture with him, but he said it like he was like, what did he say? He's like I don't take pictures with you niggas. That's exactly what he said. and and Chameleon there was like, what the fuck? You feel me? So it was just like it was probably crazy to him because he's like, hey, bro, like, and then the other players was telling Chameleon they're like, nah, bro, that's just how Michael Jordan is. Like, it's just that's just what it is. Like, that's just regular Michael Jordan. And so I'm like, what the fuck? Because I remember that shit when I was a kid, bro. So I asked Chameleon there, I'm like, bro, I'm like, did that really happen, bro? Like, was that shit really real? And he said, yeah, bro. He's like, I don't like that nigga. Fuck him. I was like, whoa. And I talked to Chameleon there, bro. Like, and he confirmed, like, in front of me, like with words, like that shit really like you like Michael Jordan said that to you, and I'm talking to you, like the person he said it to. Like that's all I thought about. Like, damn. And like he showed me like this app and shit. Like I forgot he had an app. But it was like basically like for people like to communicate with like other rappers. Like I think E40 was on there too, and Snoop Dogg and some other people. Like it was hella cool on God. That shit was tight. And
Is
then we
that
took a picture that night.
okay? Word. That's really interesting. I wonder if he was saying like I don't shake hands or I don't associate with rappers. Like I don't even know. Like what did he mean?
I'm not sure because I'm pretty sure Michael Jordan is black. so you feel me? I'm not sure what he meant by that either. And NBA is like predominantly African American. So I mean, it's not like you're not used to, you know, black people. So, I don't know what he meant by that. But I mean, shit. I mean, whatever it was that he decided, maybe he thought like Millionaire was like on some thug shit or something. I'm not sure because Michael Jordan is a different type of person. You know what I'm saying? I feel like basketball and rap is hand in hand because you think of people like Allen Iverson and shit. You know what I'm saying? Or like what was that dude? Fuck. Shit, even Kobe Bryant, Kobe. I mean, Kobe. Shaq. You feel me? Like all these people and shit. Like you feel me? Like it's a lot of. I think even Tim McGrady even tried to do some fucking rapping and shit. Like I feel like rappers and basketball players have been friends like for years and shit. That's always how it's been and shit. So it's not like that's his first time seeing a rapper.
Right.
No.
Yeah. So it just makes me think like what in the world was he trying to communicate? Like why?
Oh, you know what? You know what? Maybe he was just having an off day and he didn't even know who the fuck Millionaire was. Like, you feel me? Like, maybe he didn't even know he was a rapper. Like, he just like, maybe he was on some other shit. He's tired of fans, like, I don't know, asking for pictures. I don't know, cause
Snapping.
yeah, when you a star like that, bro, like who knows what the fuck going on in his head and what the fuck he been going through and shit. So he might get harassed all the time. So it probably was just like bad call of judgment or something.
I've experienced that. When you kind of walk into a situation and you don't know what you know what's been going on with the other people that are in that situation, like whether or not you're in public or you're kind of like hanging out with friends, and you could say something or you could leave an impression on somebody that you're entirely like they have a judgment on you that's associated with something that's completely out of this realm. It has nothing to do with you. But I think that's really that's funny. That's a really good story. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, of all the people, like if you had any choice, anybody, of all the people in the world that you know of right now, who would you like jump to work with?
um, I'm gonna try to do something I haven't worked with. Producer wise, I want a record, not like a beat, but I want an actual like record, like someone's recording on it with Mustard. I wanna work with Mustard on a record. Um, and then as far as like artist wise, I feel like, man, I don't know. I feel like a long ass time ago it was Tinashe, but I'm not sure who I want like today. Like it's because like my music is kind of different, so I don't really like. I don't try to picture people on it because sometimes it's like unexpected. Like when people get on my beats, I kind of the people that get on it, like I wouldn't think that they would hop on it sometimes. So I noticed that I probably should stop trying to like figure it out and just make whatever I feel, and if it happens, it happens.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, honestly, bro, the smartest thing to do is get a song in with Drake. If I get a song in with Drake, I'm on. You feel me? Like, I'm good.
How do you feel about 'cause somebody asked me this, Ellie Waves asked me this in the episode I did with him, and I'm curious about how you feel. He asked me about Drake's history with ghostwriting and co-writing and his beef with Pusha, and really just how he still can put out anything and it still hits. But for artists, like how do you feel about that whole situation? Do you think that it's entirely warranted? Personally, I think that this is business, and I think that Drake is always making the best choice he can for himself, and that's why he goes and he does purchase it. He purchases other people's content so that he can turn it into a hit, and he does write his own lyrics as well as having co-writers. It's not black and white, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it.
I feel like with situations like that, I definitely feel like Drake did get a pass, but it's because Drake does make really good music. You know what I'm saying? And he does have ghostwriters, but Drake also writes for other people. So I mean, it's like it just depends on who it is. I'm pretty sure like if it was like someone like the baby, or if it was someone like who else? Fucking Rod Wave or NBA Young Boy or some shit. Like that might be a little different. You feel me? Because the thing about music, especially rap, is that we believe what you're talking about. So if we're looking at NBA Young Boy, knowing his like history, we know his history as far as like being in the streets and shit. So we believe what he's saying, and that's why we listen to it and we take it as such. Is same with the King Von. If you found out NBA Young Boy was taking somebody else's lyrics and was spitting shit that came from somebody else and he didn't even feel himself, it would be different. So, but I feel like Drake is a different artist because he's not within that lane. You feel me?
Mm.
He's more like into like he does. He's hip hop. You know what I'm saying? He raps, but he can fit into like R&B and pop. You know what I'm saying? And I think with Drake, you can't really put him in a box like that. He
Right.
does all type of shit. He ventures off into all different things. So I mean, if he does have a ghostwriter, all right, cool. I mean, you could try to discredit that song, whatever writer he has on it, but it's not just like people are like putting shit together for him. It's more like he has like a team be but how I explain like you know like almost like the what they call it like a OVO's workshop sweatshop where you know like they were trying to say he had like he signed everyone just to make hits for him. I don't think that's necessarily the truth. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like they could easily do their own thing. I mean, the thing is, no one else is gonna be bigger than Drake because Drake is Drake. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I feel like honestly, Drake does a lot because he's actually putting people into position that they weren't in before. Number two, Drake is musically inclined. He knows his sound. He knows exactly what works for him. So he has a team that also knows his sound to, polish that up. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. I don't think no one should really be tripping about the ghostwriter shit anymore. Like when it first came out, no one was aware of that. So yeah, that's a big shock to everyone. But I mean, I think everyone kind of has ghostwriters. At least if you're in the mainstream shit like that.
Well, I think from a listener perspective, and maybe if you're being kind of blindsided by this concept, it comes off as like, oh, this work is an original, but it doesn't really work like that from the standpoint of somebody who makes music professionally. And of course, Drake has been topping charts for this entire decade. He's experienced in making hits. He knows what they sound like, and he also is willing to go anywhere and everywhere to source material and make sure that his releases are always on point. And I think that people don't really understand that from the perspective of an artist, you can't physically do absolutely everything yourself. Like there are certain sounds that you're not going to achieve with your own mind, that you got to bring other people in for. And especially we don't consider that maybe these co-writers don't necessarily have the voice for the lyrics they're writing, so they're basically making dough off of just their imagination, sitting there and writing in the voice of somebody else. And I personally, I think that, like I said, it's just not black and white. And a lot of people think that it's so black and white, like either you're original or you're not. And it doesn't work like that. Especially if you make everything yourself, where are you getting all of your inspiration and your ideas from? And there's something to be said about pretty much anybody in the game sort of not really culturally appropriating, but more so just appropriating the material of years past for the years in the future, which is something that I think we all have to embrace and do at some point. Is you have to look at what's been done and what's possible, and you got to step outside of the box.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
So I think because we've been doing this for an hour and 10 minutes, is a good place to ramp it down and sign off. For the people, do you have any projects, any new stuff coming that you want to let them know about, or personal like rap? Are you putting out a rap project, maybe anything like that?
I was working on an album like last year for my birthday. I dropped the EP called For the World, and that was like my solo project, like me just basically getting like a lot of people together to create these songs like on some Mustard and Khaled shit. Um, but right now I kind of been working on singles like with other artists. Like I got a song coming out very soon with the homie Yeah Ali, and he writes for like Chris Brown and shit. He's also a producer, produced some records for Chris Brown. Um, and I also got some other shit with Scheme, who wrote Tempo for Chris Brown, and Fancy for Iggy Azalea. He's actually from my city, and then some shit with him and Roddy Rich. Uh, Trying to get those out like before the year close. So I think those are like the only two things I'm working on. But I think after New Year's, I think I can start working on like actually like releasing something. Hopefully, if like the pandemic get a little better.
All right, word. Um, and just as a final note, do you want to drop your socials?
Oh yeah, so everything is just Papa FTW. FTW people think it's for the win. I usually tell them, yeah, that's cool too, but I put it for like for the world. That's why I meant it. But yes, Papa PaupaFTW on everything. Like I got Genius. I got Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Um, You feel me? If you need my Discord, I think my Discord, I have on my Instagram, it's like a link tree. So all my shit's on there on Linktree too, like my Apple, my Spotify, my Twitch, like everything is pretty much the same. You can find me on anything. It's kind of easy.
Word. Awesome. Well, with that said, I'm rooting for you. We're all rooting for you. Shout out to KMB for dropping your
Yes,
name.
bro. KMB, yes, that is, bro. I love her. KMB, shout out to you, bro, on everything.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. She dropped your name when I put up a thread asking about pretty much anybody that I might not be thinking of for the site. And I went and found you, and I was absolutely interested in bringing you on, hearing your perspective, hearing your story, which is really cool, really interesting. You've definitely taken it some places, and I'm really excited to see where you take it next. So, let me know if you ever want to come back on. Definitely hit you up in a few months to see if you want to do another episode. And with all that said, I think I'm going to cut it here. Thanks for coming on, bro. Really appreciate it.
Nah, I appreciate you for having me, man.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll see everybody on the next podcast.